Week 7 has wrapped up in the NFL, so today we're going to share our biggest overreactions and our best storylines.
All right, let's get right into what was probably the second biggest storyline heading into Week 7, and that was the Pittsburgh Steelers starting Russell Wilson. So after watching that Sunday Nighter and the rant you went on the last week for the preview, do you take back what you said?
I take back in terms of of Russell Wilson being bad. I take back that part, but I don't take back that there might still be a situation now, because now you have two quarterbacks, right? And obviously with Russell Wilson, your passing offense was better, right? But also with Justin Fields, your rushing is also better. And I also took Russell Wilson like a quarter
and a half, yeah.
Quarter and a half. Like, yeah, he did play it better, but it still hasn't proven anything to me. Reason one, the Jets defense sucks after Salah. They're simple as that.
We'll get to the Jets later. But
They found a way to drop off. So, and also the Jets cornerbacks are thin, right? So Pickens was able to cook, even though it was against the Sauce Gardner after time too as well. But again, it was a good performance. I'm actually I was a little bit surprised of how actually well it went. I thought the Jets should have won this game personally, but I guess that's just more on the Jets side. But yeah, Russell Wilson had a good game. He got Pickens involved. They were able to, first time you saw in a long ass time that Steelers are a passing offense, right? And they were able to push the ball downfield, and that's how they got points. So again, right now it's a good step, but overall there's gonna be issues in my opinion down the line.
So, obviously, like I said, I disagreed with what you said about Russell Wilson being a bad quarterback, because last year he actually had a pretty good year. People think about...
I didn't say he was a bad quarterback. I said Justin Fields was playing better than what Russell Wilson did last year.
But no, I'm just saying in general, the general public has this eye that the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson was terrible. First year, 100% agree. The second year,
he was okay.
He almost kind of got close to a playoff spot. I'm not saying...
At the end, he was okay, though.
Yeah, but he wasn't...
He wasn't anything special, but he
was better than half the NFL and quarterbacks that played.
Yeah, that's
right?
fair.
So... Yes, like I said, we both had this statement that you should have done this the week before. I understand Justin Fields, even though he came off a win, didn't have his greatest game, and he decided to do that. And Mike Tomlin said it was all him. It was his decision. It wasn't he was told down or anything. He's that's why you get paid the big bucks as a joke.
Mike Tomlin never gets told down, bro.
Yeah.
You can't tell down Mike Tomlin.
But that being said, right, so obviously the first quarter, everybody was just okay, yeah, get Justin Fields back into the game.
They were getting booed off the field.
Even Steelers fans themselves were saying that, right?
They were booing.
As the game went on, now, yes, some plays fell into their lap, like the one with George Pickett's bobble and all that stuff happened. Pat Fryermuth made a couple of nice one-handed catches as well. But like you said, the point is they looked better when they were able to get the ball downfield, right? And that's where Russell Wilson's going to help this offense a lot more. Yes, he's not going to be Big Ben, especially at this point of his career. So yeah, you're right that there's still going to be a controversy of how often are they going to flip back and forth. It was allegedly said that they were going to do two quarterbacks this game. They didn't do that. Now, a little bit of that is because they were down early as well. So you needed to move the ball up the field a lot more. And he did that well, right? He got comfortable as the game went on. Obviously, the short yardage situations or the screen passes, he struggled. And that's where, you would think Fields, we saw a play where Fields could just gotten the first down themselves. That being said, though, if they do the 2 QB thing, I don't know how that... I mean, I'll see why it'll work. If it's a short yard situation, you could toss Justin Fields in there. If it's a medium to a longer yard, you could put Russell Wilson in there. Because at this point of their career, Russell Wilson used to be a good scrambler. He isn't that anymore. As good as he was anymore. And Justin Fields clearly the better guy. And obviously Russell Wilson has the better arm. The point is, though, that makes your offense predictable. Right?
If Fields is in the game.
He's okay, yeah, they're probably going to go short. Yeah. Yes, you might throw him off by saying, Fields is going to go long or Russell Wilson's going to go short or whatever. But it's not like you have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, even guys like Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson. Because for them, they might think, 3rd and 1, he's going to run for sure because their ability to, but they also have the ability to hit it long, all right, to whoever's going to be open. Justin Fields hasn't shown the consistency of, outside of the Colts game, to hit the long ball, right? And if that's the case, then it's projected what Andrew Luck and Jacoby Brissett did. Or today, with the Monday Nighter with Kyler Murray kind of banged up, so they put Clayton Tune in for QB sneaks and stuff, right? So I think that's the ideal way the 2 QB thing is gonna work. But I feel like that's gonna just be a little bit predictable, unless Arthur Smith gets in his bag and does what Andy Reid did and put both QBs on the field and then do something that way.
Yeah, no, overall, like, at the end of the day, it's a good week for the Steelers. Like, at the end, they're winning. That's the biggest thing, right? They're winning football games. That's the only thing that matters in Pittsburgh right now, and that's the only thing that matters to Mike Tomlin. And so far, gutsy call. It has worked out right now, but there should be a time down the line where, you know, there will be more controversy than it is.
Playoff time, who's your starter or whatever?
Like, yeah, especially if both quarterbacks are playing well.
If Russell Wilson is going to keep playing, it's going to be obviously him. But, like, for them...
the biggest situation is, like, when Russell Wilson has a bad game, do you bench him and start Fields right away? Like, how much of a... Like, do you cut anyone slack here? Right? Do you cut Justin Fields some slack or do you cut Russell Wilson slack?
Two bad... Like, they could have easily benched him after the 2 bad drives he had.
He could have, yeah, honestly. So
they gave him some slack, to be fair. So... I guess it depends on how. I'm going to say at least a half. Let's just say Russell Wilson has a bad half, then they might switch it up. But that's the only way I could go. But it's an interesting situation. Like, honestly, they probably would have been better off if Russell Wilson being bad so they didn't have their answer, or him go crazy to have their answer. But like I said, at the end of the day, Russell Wilson is showing that he's still one of the top 32 quarterbacks in this league. It's just unfortunate that you have the other one is also one of the top 32 quarterbacks.
He is. Yeah, he is.
As well, right? So... it's going to be interesting to see. They have the Giants next, so I don't know how many answers you're going to get.
So here's the thing, right? Because you have the Giants, can you experiment more? Can you put
maybe, depends on the score. Maybe.
Can you play with 2 quarterbacks, right? Well, like, it should be Russell Wilson starting right now.
It is.
Right, it has to be, right? Unless he throws another curveball and, like, he actually alternates.
Who knows, but Dexter Lawrence is having a deep year. If he wasn't on the Giants, he would have been.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, but... Yeah, no, Russell Wilson, great performance, should be starting next game, and we'll see what happens with the Giants.
Let's go to the NFC. We'll end off on the Jets, so stay tuned what we're gonna say about the Devontae Adams debut and the Amari Cooper debut very quickly at the end. But let's go to the team that we had locks as the best, arguably the best team in the NFL for sure in the NFC. The 49ers have just their injury luck. Like, obviously we're Colts fans, we have the worst pretty bad injury luck. New Orleans Saints have bad injury luck. I didn't see anything like this. To the point now where Brandon Ayuk get well soon, tore ACL, MCL out for the year. George Kittle is now officially day-to-day once again with an ankle injury. You're coming off a bad loss against the Chiefs. And Deebo Samuel, who knows, he has pneumonia, so he's hospitalized at the moment, a type of pneumonia, so hopefully he gets well soon. You still have Christian McCaffrey injured, to the point where now Ricky Pearsall made his, did he make his season debut this game?
Yeah.
He made his debut this game. And then Juwan Jennings was out.
It's not season debut, it was career.
Career debut as well. To the point where he had 4, 5, 6. At least Kittle was playing for the most part, but he still had wide receivers like 4, 5, 6 playing, right? Jordan Mason was still able to play, and he played well.
And he's banged up.
And he's banged up himself. So I'm going to ask you straight up, are they still contenders with what's going on with them right now? Because Brock Purdy did struggle. Now, that's also a little bit on Brock Purdy because you expect it, and Kyle Shanahan's game planning a little bit. But then you can't predict all the injuries happening during the game. And the Chiefs' defense is the best in the league right now.
The 49ers are definitely not the best team in the NFC, which obviously throws away their contendership for Super Bowl. And yes, there's a lot of issues, right? Injuries being one of them. Brock Purdy being another one with his inconsistent play. And the third one being Kyle Shanahan, because on the other side, the Kansas City Chiefs are facing with a lot of injuries. Juju went down, right? They already had Rashee Rice go down. And they're able to, be creative and find a way to, score touchdowns.
With Pat Mahomes struggling, right? And their defense stepped up.
Yeah, their defense has stepped up. But on the other side, your defense is still fine. Should be fine on paper still. Obviously, Dre Greenlaw is a big piece that you're missing right now. And but offensively, it just felt so predictable. It just felt like Spagnuolo just knows the playbook of the 49ers, which is, honestly, they need the run game going. If the run game is not going, they can't get the play action boot going. Right, that's the 2 biggest weapons of the 49ers, right? And that's an issue because I know run games are very important in the league, but you can't rely on the run game to get your pass game going every single time, right?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Don't get me wrong, it's a very vital part. It's the reason why you could have a different dynamic in your offense for sure. But at the end of the day, you got to get something going, right? Something working. And right now, neither has been working, right? Just because they're so coincided, because obviously the play action boot obviously comes off the run game, right? But they're going to need Purdy to step up in the pass game, in just normal shotgun formation, all that stuff, right? And he hadn't looked good. Like the two interceptions in the second half were brutal, and also like game-stealing interceptions. Basically, they had the momentum too with the one he overthrew, where he rushed in for the touchdown. So basically, Mahomes threw a pick where he fell down. Purdy got a rushing touchdown. The Niners defense gets a stop. Purdy comes back. They're driving down the field, and the errant throw just absolutely demolishes all of their momentum.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna let this game be a slight pass, and the reason why is because you're not predicting a torn ACL, MCL. As much as Ayuk has struggled this year, this is where he could have flourished a little bit if he even had just him. Like that's when he flourished a little bit last year. Right now, George Kittle's been up and down. Like your top 4 pass catchers are out, so I don't believe that Purdy really worked with these backups on a consistent basis.
No, not really. Yeah.
And then Kyle Shanahan, yes, I expect better from him. You're supposed to be this offensive genius like a Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, and all these guys. I'll let you this week pass. I want to see what you do next week. I don't know if they're gonna buy next week or not. Schedule wise, whenever you're playing, because like you said, Ayuk is done. We don't know what's happening with McCaffrey. We don't know how long Debo is gonna be out or with that pneumonia, and who knows what's happening with Kittle's ankle, because that's going to be an up and down.
This is deja vu for the 49ers, because the last time they made a Super Bowl was against the Kansas City Chiefs. Incredible season, but the next year, absolutely riddled with injuries, and they landed up with like a top 5 pick, basically.
Yeah, so like,
or a top 10 pick at least.
Yeah, like this thing is like it's hard to overcome. Like you can't even blame Purdy too much. That interception in the end zone was terrible. I get that, but like. It's like we're gonna like.
It's hard to adjust in game with all those injuries.
In game, but like now that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna let this week pass because you're playing the best defense, arguably the best defensive mind in Spagnuolo in the game right now as well. The thing is, if you want to be not known as this game manager,
boy, this is time. Yeah,
it's time for you to like step up.
Like Purdy's gonna have to carry
exactly, and that now this is your time to be like that, quote unquote Brady mode, because Brady was a late pick. Can he be that? With that being said, just a quick yes or no here before we talk about other contenders in the conference itself, because you already answered no. Can they still win this division with what the the Cardinals are looking like? Even like the Rams are not completely out because they're still 2-4. They're 3-4. Chargers Cardinals are 3-4. Seahawks had a massive win against the Falcons with 4-3.
They can still win the division. Reason being,
but it's still
Seahawks are hella inconsistent.
Yeah,
right. The Cardinals at the end of the day hella inconsistent because they won like every other game. Like they're on this pattern, and the Rams are beat up, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, they beat the Raiders, right? That's okay.
Still Stafford though. I think you still have Stafford playing it.
Yeah, I know you still have Stafford, but like at the end of the day, like nothing really changes for the Rams as of this moment because they played Raiders, whose quarterback got injured.
But you're not,
and they had to put in Gardner Minshew.
You're not convinced,
and it was honestly, it came down to the wire almost as well.
You're not convinced with the Seahawks, the Niners.
I'm not convinced with anyone in the division
right now,
and anyone, like legit.
Okay,
so that's probably the reason why I think the Niners could still win the division.
So that being said, like the question I had next year is like, who are the contenders out of the NFC?
Well,
that could we know it's Detroit.
We know guarantee number 1.
But they're gonna lose Jameson Wilson for 2 games. That's fine. Like the PED use happen. Obviously, if it's 2 games, I believe now that's a new rule. If it's just contamination, it's 2 games. Don't quote me on that because that just happened as we hit record. But by far, they're the best team. Without Aiden Hutchinson, had a good defensive performance. Definitely game of the week and game of the year contendership against the Vikings. That game as well. So with that being said, like who is their biggest threat right now? Are you gonna put the Eagles back in the mix? It's their own division. The Vikings?
It's their own division. It's the Vikings and Packers. Right?
I would have said the Buccaneers. But they literally
Baker's on the turnover bug right now.
Not even that. And they just lost Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
As well as that. But yeah, Baker has 5 picks in the last 2 games. He hasn't, obviously, and turnover wise hasn't looked great. Again, like you just said, Chris Godwin's out for a while now, and Mike Evans' hamstring issues. I've dealt with hamstring issues. It's actually they linger.
I think the Bucs made a mistake by playing him today, for sure. Because you could tell he wasn't even 100% after he first caught the touchdown.
Yeah.
And then obviously when he got injured, right?
But overall, like when you're looking at it, like I know the Buccaneers did beat the Lions, but that's when the Buccaneers are healthy. And they're not healthy right now. It has to be their own division, right? At the end of the day, the Vikings only lost by 2. And a game-winning field goal.
And then
the Packers are looking good now, right? They beat a Super Bowl contender in the Texans, right? And their defense was incredible, holding Stroud to less than 100 yards passing. And
Chicago will make it tough, but they're not going to be in the same.
Chicago, honestly, they're not in the same tier. But again, those are only 4 teams right now in the NFC that are actually playing well at the moment.
The only one, since the Bucs,
all in one division.
Since the Bucs are now banged up, The Falcons still, yes, horrible performance against the Seahawks, but I'll still put them half a tier to a tier below, because they're still, I think, at a good team. And I'm gonna still listen. They play the Giants. I don't know how we forgot that this was Saquon's revenge game. We completely let this slip by that they were playing the Giants in New York, and Saquon had himself a game. Philly, I need to see Philly play a good team before I can make a full decision of them, and we know what our thoughts are on Dallas. And Washington is still in the Chicago range right now.
Yeah, Washington, Chicago, and similar. Yeah, with Jaden Downs being injured, but right now
it's just the Lions and then
Lions,
Vikings, and Packers.
And Vikings and Packers, Vikings, Packers.
Where would you put last thing? Where would you put the healthy Bucks though?
Healthy Bucks, I would put them at 2.
You would have him at 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair. Baker was my top 3 MVP candidate themselves.
Yeah, Baker's hit the turnover bug right now, so he's got to pick it up.
So we mentioned the Vikings who lost their first game to the Detroit Lions. The Chiefs, on the other hand, are finding ways to win on the defensive side mainly, and with all the offensive injuries and Mahomes not having Mahomes magic often, even though he had the sick run. When are they going 17-0? Simple as that.
So when you look at the schedule,
I'll pull it up.
It's actually very favorable at the moment when you're looking at other teams, right?
Yeah.
And as of right now, are they playing the cleanest brand of football? No. But offensively especially. Defensively, they definitely are. They're not flashy. They're not like those Chiefs that everyone gets excited to watch. But they're just so experienced. They've just been there, done that. They just know how to win games, right? They just know how to make the clutch plays, the clinical clutch third down plays. They get it done, all both offensively and defensively. They win in the third down, especially in the fourth quarter. And they just know how to win. And no matter what situation it is now, the issue with when Mahomes and Kelsey, when Mahomes was younger and they lost to Brady, right? The issue with that is they only won flashy, right? They
lost Creed one that year, to be fair.
They won flashy, even in the Super Bowl year, right?
Yeah.
When they lost to Brady. And the difference is Brady knew. Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the year in general.
Yeah.
They won because, they were able to make sick offensive plays.
Yeah.
Right? And defensively, they were okay then. Obviously, right now, defensively, they're way better. But right now, at that time, it's kind of a passing of the torch in terms of Brady, no matter what situation, he just knew how to win, right? He's playing like shit. He's not playing like shit. He just knew how to win. Yeah. And right now, that's what Mahomes is doing right now.
So that means that I'm looking at the schedule, and I'll ask you the remaining games in a second. Just give me a yes or no. Their toughest part is actually kind of done. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Bengals. Yes, we know what the Bengals were at the beginning of the year, but it was a close game.
Yeah.
They beat the Falcons, who we thought were going to be a good team. Listen, divisional games are tough. They beat the Chargers still. They beat the Saints, who started off hot at that point. It was a close game. And then they just beat the Niners, right? So next game, Raiders should be a win.
W.
Buccaneers, now with these losses, should be a
W,
win.
Yeah.
Broncos, they're surprising teams, but should
W.
Be. Okay, the Bills. So
that's
arguably November 17th, whatever, week 11, you might be 10-0 at that point.
Yeah.
So that's the one game. I think they beat the Panthers. I think they should beat the Raiders again. Chargers, okay, we'll see how it goes. Should be a win. Browns should win. Then after that Bills game, it's the Texans game, which is at week 16.
So there's only 2 teams that
as Steelers and then Broncos.
I'll talk in the Steelers.
Yeah.
There's only 3 teams that actually have a shot. Right now.
That's more 50-50, you would say.
The division should be 6-0, right? The division should be on lockdown.
Yeah.
Right. And there's only 3 teams: Steelers, Bills,
and even Steelers on the lower echelon because their defense could match their offense. Should cancel their offense out a little bit.
Yeah. The Steelers are just if they get it going offensively, then they'll have a shot.
Yeah.
Right? Be more consistent offensively. The Texans, a little bit disappointing in terms of
there's a game plan.
Kind of expected. Yeah, there is a game plan.
But no Nico Collins.
Yeah, there is no Nico Collins, so that is true. He's a big weapon, but overall, you still have enough weapons, right? Even with Nico Collins going down, that's why you got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
But with the Texans, they're just not playing the cleanest brand of football.
Yeah.
That's their biggest issue. And same with the Bills. They're playing more clean.
They added Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and they added Amari Cooper. So right now, the Bills might be the toughest challenge in terms of
overall.
Yeah, overall, Bills have to be because they're actually playing clean. Josh Allen has 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
The biggest issue with the Bills last year is they weren't playing clean football. And that's why they were 6-6 at one point.
Exactly. You mentioned the Broncos very quickly. Are they going to be a playoff team, or are they going to at least fight for a playoff? Come week 16, 17, 18, whatever, are they going to be in the race, or are they going to fizzle out still? Sean Payton's built a decent culture, and Bo Nix is arguably outperforming or matching Patrick Mahomes' production from this year.
Yeah, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
But overall, like, yeah, they're finding ways to win. They got some chemistry going now as well. It was funny because, like, I was gonna say, like, Cortland Sutton's going, but then he had like 0 catches in the Thursday night win against the Saints.
Yeah.
And overall, like, yeah, this team is good in terms of, like, they know who they're playing for, they know what they're playing for because of the identity they have set. And if they could get Javonte Williams rolling like how he did on Thursday and like be the Javonte Williams that we know he can be, like, it could get a little bit more. They could be a little bit better here.
Man, the Broncos got you teary-eyed a little bit there. Your eyes are watery.
No, I'm fine.
I don't know. It looks watery in my eye. I don't know if it's because of the light. I'm just like, oh, damn.
I don't care about the Denver Broncos.
No, I'm not. But like I said, like the surprise factor.
Yeah, no, they are. There's a surprise factor for sure.
Okay, another quick one though. Deshaun Watson goes down with a torn Achilles. Obviously, controversial figure. We're not going to talk about that situation. But it's not like he was playing the greatest football, so that thing. So part one of the question.
Well, we still have to say get well soon. Get
well soon. No one's in a picture who wants an injury.
Nobody wants anyone to get injured at the end of the day.
But that being said, first part of the question is, he's going to be making close 72, I think Schefter said, or something like 60 to 70 million-ish for the next 2 years guaranteed. Like, that's going to be a cap hit. Is he done in Cleveland at least? Because he's not going to be back, like, what, Achilles injuries are what, a year?
Yeah.
And football might be a little bit sooner than basketball for sure, but it's probably a year. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. There talks about Myles Garrett getting traded. Is he done in Cleveland?
Yeah, like, if there's any shot he had, it's all gone now, right?
Like, he struggled. I thought he would have performed better this year, but he didn't.
I know, but like, even if whatever he was struggling this year, but like, maybe, if he gets through the year healthy, comes back next year and performs better, that's all gone now too. Like, all the chances he has are gone now, right? He's already on the hot seat coming into Cleveland. There's a high expectation. He wasn't living up to that. This year was supposed to be the year because, especially what Joe Flacco did last year. And now he has a potential.
They're the biggest
career.
disappointment in the NFL, right?
Yeah, for sure. But a potential career-ending injury, you could say. Like, you could put that as a label.
Career-ending in terms of like actual health. I'm saying career-ending like he's been so bad that even if he does come back on that injury, he might not even get it.
Like, it's gonna be very shocking if he returns to the Houston Deshaun Watson after this injury.
What a fall from grace, though, man. Like, really, like. We were like arguing like how the Colts should overpay and get him back then, and then all the allegations came in, and then after the allegations, he missed a year in general.
That's honestly like the year missing ruins a lot of people's careers.
Yeah,
right. Except for Joe Flacco's, but like like Le'Veon Bell did that. Obviously, Deshaun Watson did that. There's probably a couple other people that off the top of my head I don't remember, but those are two biggest examples.
Yeah, but
Calvin Ridley.
The other thing is how is Kevin Stefanski's seat? Because I still don't know. I need to look it up a little bit more. Why was Jameis Winston not the quarterback once he got down?
So,
and I mean, if you're Jordan Watson was playing well to the point he got injured, which just sucks because that's when it's crazy when like that happens is when you're kind of rolling. Same thing happened with Anthony Richardson when he got hurt. But yeah, like DTR went in. I'm like, oh, Jameis Winston season, he'll push the ball downfield. He'll make the game close or whatever. Yeah, I think DTR ended up getting hurt. That's why he got in.
Yeah, game was still close.
Yeah,
it became close after. Yeah, I was very confused. The only thing I could think of is like when the Saints lost Carr and instead of Rattler coming in, Jake Haener came in.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know if they're just following that replica, but like, okay, now we probably want to save Winston.
Fair. That's fair.
Starting next
game.
Yeah. That's the only reason I could think of. But like, they weren't out of this game.
No.
And Winston, at the end of the day, did give you the best chance of winning. Right? And I was confused. The only reason I could think of is like maybe they wanted to protect Winston to start next game.
Because their O-line has been disappointing as well.
Yeah, no, injuries and like their O-line that's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Good news for them. Chubb is back and now she got a touchdown, which was a good sight to see. And let's see if we could get rolling a little bit more in terms of more yardage. But overall, right now, I was very confused that Winston wasn't in.
Can Winston put them into a playoff mix?
Nah, it's too far out now. What is that, 1-6?
Yeah, and Bengals are 3-4.
Same record as the Patriots.
Yeah, and then the other two teams are 5-2, obviously in their own division.
Yeah, like it's already too far out. Like division's already gone.
Well, okay, so I'll judge this based on what they do the next game, whenever they play.
I don't know. I don't think you judge it, bro. I think it's done.
No. I mean like quarterback play at least to give us some type of chance, right?
There's no chance still.
Okay, let's before we get into our close it off on our biggest overreaction, prediction, hot take, whatever. We gotta talk about the two biggest trades that happened. We're gonna touch on the Bills very quickly. He'd obviously Amari Cooper didn't know the plays. There was the touchdown play. He did get Keon Coleman to explain their route during when they were lined up at the line of scrimmage. He's gonna fit in well. Like clearly, he's gonna.
He ended up with I think 60.
Open the field up more.
Yeah, he ended up with 66 yards.
Slow. He had a massive drop.
Everything he did in that game.
Well, the whole team played better in the second half.
Yeah, everything he did in that game was in the second half.
The whole team.
Yeah, but we're talking about Cooper here, right? I think he had like 4 or 5 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown.
I don't know. I have him on fantasy. All of a sudden, I saw like double digits.
Yeah, I know. Like for a guy who has just came in legit midweek and was able to put up production, that's already good sign. And he doesn't even know anything right now. Again, the route running is what was missing in this wide receiver core and a solid number 1 receiver. He doesn't like obviously Amari Cooper isn't like the upper tier of receivers, but he's a very underrated. But he's still a number 1.
Yeah, he's a very underrated number 1.
He's still a number 1, and he's able to, because Coleman has a size, right? We saw that. We see that Shakir, when healthy, he has a speed, right? And he has a route running. A guy who could just get open.
Flacco found him a lot last year,
like,
right?
He gets open,
exactly,
right? Like because of his route running,
yeah,
right. That they just didn't have a guy like who could get open in like those 1 or 2 seconds when Allen is getting pressured, heavily. So like that's what they needed. It should fit in like a glove for sure, and not as a guy where like I think Allen is gonna necessarily force feed as well, in my opinion. So that's why, honestly, that 0 picks is gonna probably could stay for a little bit longer as well. But overall, like it made their team so much better, much more impact than the other team's trade in Devontae Adams.
So let's get to that.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams made his debut, and obviously, like, listen, long story short, to start it off is like there's more problems than to firing your coach and getting
Devontae Adams. Yeah.
Offensively, it looked good. Like the field was opened up. Breece Hall was going. Garrett Wilson, yes, a bad drop that led to an interception, and then another interception.
Like he looked more open too.
He was more open. Like he was not getting double teamed and stuff like that. Right. My issue with this is not, and then they got, like you said earlier, they're getting injured on the defensive side. They're getting injured on the offensive.
Their secondary is thin right now.
My issue though, right now, I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, and when I was watching the game, I thought of something. And then I wanted to double check with the experts. So I listened to Dan Orlovsky, right? And he pretty much said exactly what I said on NFL Live, that this Aaron Rodgers is very, very risk averse. And by what I'm saying is, like, when he would throw the ball in Green Bay quick, confidently, he would thread the needle, even though it might be just between the cup here and Ovechkin statue or thing here, right?
Yeah.
Figurine here. He tried that, but he's not using the middle of the field. He's not seeing the ball, seeing the field open well, because there were plays where Devontae Adams got open. It could have been a walking touchdown. Garrett Wilson. Instead, he took too long. He's doing like Caleb Williams did to start off the thing.
I necessarily saw one play noticed where like I think it was in the first quarter, the second drive.
Yeah.
Where he was stepped up in the pocket, and he had a guy open in the middle. Like all he has to do is just lead him a little bit, right? Up and over the linebacker, a throw that he always makes. But he pump fakes that and then takes the sack.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, like, he's being very risk cautious, especially with that interception that ended up, not the one that Garrett Wilson bobbled, but like the other one, right? Where, I forgot who it was, made a sick one-hand catch to make the interception. Because at the end of the day, they were playing well, they were winning, and then once that pick happened, then he just kind of went downhill, and then defensively they couldn't stop anything. To me, though, I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, because what was the best attribute of Aaron Rodgers? He could make spectacular throws without getting picked, right? Last year's Josh Allen was making spectacular plays, but at the same time,
getting picked.
Jameis Winston, no, Mr. 30-30 is his nickname for a reason in Tampa Bay.
I would rather have Aaron Rodgers be Mr. 30-30 than be this.
But
I'll be honest.
This is like, so that's what I'm saying. I hope he's not, like, I don't want him to retire. Like, yes, he's not moving well. He's clearly hobbled. He's 41 this year, turning 41. He's coming off an Achilles injury himself. O-line is not protecting him at all.
Exactly.
So for me, first of all, just quick yes or no before I continue. Is the Jets season done? Because Miami is now having Tua coming back.
But Jets season not done. And reason is because wildcard's still open.
Exactly.
Right? Like I know Bengals are going to be a team
They're
that's
2
in
and
a
5
chase
though.
right now.
Yeah.
The Jets are 2-5.
Both Miami and
at the end of the day, like who has the spots right now? Like Denver,
Indy, Denver, and
like Indy and Denver.
And Denver and Pittsburgh.
I love Indy.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not gonna,
but I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
Denver's playing well. Not convinced. Right? Like at the end of the day, like
their schedule's favorable.
Yeah, the schedule is favorable. The Bengals are there, yes, but like that's only the necessary. And then obviously Miami. Like just like those teams should be in the playoffs. The Jets should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just feel like Aaron Rodgers is playing like a guy who's trying to save his career type of thing. Like he just doesn't want to look stupid.
Like you wouldn't think that guy like with his pedigree, his resume is gonna play scared, but he kind of is.
It's like
He's up. Like if he retires literally right now, he's first ballot Hall of Famer.
yeah.
Right?
So that's the thing. Like I don't know why he's trying to play like. I feel like when you're looking at him play, he's trying to play for like one more year type of thing. So that's why like retirement is not in my head right now, because it feels like to me that he's just trying to get one more year out of it.
Yeah.
So he's just like in that sense, even though but he's still taking the hits, right? It's just like one of those things where like Aaron Rodgers is very very good at. He's doing some things that he's still very good at. Those back shoulder throws, right? Very impressive. But one thing he was also very good at was throwing under pressure. Right, taking the hit, but also making the big throw at the same time.
But he can't move like how he did.
Yeah, no, but it's not even that. Like you could still be in the pocket and take the hit and make the throw.
Yeah.
The issue is, obviously, I guess injury scare is in there, so he just tucks the ball and takes the sack.
Yeah.
But overall, like right now, like you have the connection, like you have everything you need weapons wise, right? Obviously,
And don't worry about Garrett Wilson either. Devontae Adams already opened up the field once. Plus, Devontae Adams said himself that he wants to mentor a little bit Garrett Wilson, so he's only gonna get better. Even though I know teams are calling for him, but like still,
I just feel like it just like they're gonna need a game where when's the last time he's thrown for 300 yards? It's actually been a long time.
yeah, because I think the London game was 200 something.
Yeah, like it's been a while now since he has thrown for 300 yards. I feel like if he could get a 300-yard game, I feel like he'll be back.
Is he like? Are you gonna say he's washed right now, or do you want like
I can't say he's washed.
I
right
understand
now.
people hate Aaron Rodgers' personality.
Yeah,
and
for
stuff like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
But as a football player, he's amazing, and I'm trying to refuse because I want to see another Brady-like thing, and he has the ability to do it if he's just not risk averse. Like at the moment, is he washed? Yeah, sure, he looks washed but is it more on the mental side of things than the physical? Yeah, I believe so. Because I know he's hobbled. Don't get me wrong.
I think the arm's
But the
still
young
there.
guys like Justin Herbert, he's hobbled, still threw for 300 yards with that not so good, shitty passing pass catchers he has. He at least has the weapons: Tyler Conklin, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Right, like these guys are there. I refuse to say it. I want to say I don't know if he has one more year on his contract or not. If he does, I hope he signs, and this is not it. I know people are saying he should go retire, but I hope like either he makes a run now and just gets confident because he got Devontae Adams going. But the Jets obviously had to deal with other stuff. They got Hassan Reddick figured out, so defensively that should help a little bit more pass rush wise. And then last thing for me is like if it is one more year, go get an offensive mastermind that'll scheme people open. Because right now it just looks like there's no real creativity and all that going on.
Oh yeah, but
AKA a Ben Johnson type.
But I don't feel bad as much because at the end of the day, who has control?
He does.
Aaron
True,
Rodgers.
that's fair.
At the end of the day, this is some of it. It is his own doing.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily feeling bad, but I'm just hoping.
Overall, like I just feels like this guy's. I don't know why he's like being a shell of himself because like he has nothing left to prove.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like he could go like Joe Flacco has nothing left to prove. He just comes out chucking.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the best thing about Joe Flacco right now because he's just playing like he's playing like he said himself. I'm just trying to have fun, right? Trying to get as much as a game as I possibly can.
How much do you think he's looking at Green Bay right now and is like, they're doing better without me and I need to prove myself? Because mentally that could be a thing. I'm
not really, man.
I think mentally a thing. Like if you look at your quote unquote.
At the end of the day, your time. At the end of the day, it was when his time was up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. His time in Green Bay was finished. It was over. Like the amount of off seasons we had, like, oh, this guy's gonna get traded, or he comes back, this guy's gonna get traded. I don't think that matters anymore. Right? He's got to figure it out on his own. And right now, he is the biggest issue on the New York Jets.
Yeah, that's fair. But let's close it off once again, as we did for the last couple of weeks. Our biggest overreaction, bold.
Biggest overreaction of Week 7. I'll go first. The Arizona Cardinals will make the playoffs. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they have won games with their weaknesses in the beginning of the year. Their defense is actually playing really well. And obviously, Jonathan Gannon is doing a big job. Today, their O-line played pretty well as well in terms of, especially in the last drive, and their run blocking as well. The connection that we thought that could have taken over the league not really by surprise, but just an electrifying way in Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison hasn't really gone going
outside of
one game. But overall, they're doing the things that we thought they were gonna fail in are the things that they're doing good in, and that's the reason why they're still in it. And with the division being all like inconsistent and obviously hobbled as well, they have a shot. I wouldn't necessarily say division, but I could say playoffs.
Are you
Wild card?
Okay, so you're saying wild card. Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I'll make. For me, yeah, like I think if they get their offense rolling, they should be able to make it a show because their offense is gonna be special if it gets rolling, right?
For sure.
For me, I went a similar route, but I went with like, okay, all 4 NFC North teams will make the playoffs, and I don't know how much of that is really a big overreaction. I guess the biggest one would be the Bears still, but you're 5-1 Detroit, 5-1 Minnesota, 5-2 Green Bay, and 4-2 Chicago Bears. So we're coming off a bye week this past week. There's no one I'm confident in, right? Like, if Jaden Daniels is injured, I don't believe in Mariota enough, even though he had a good game. It was against the Carolina Panthers, and then to take over the division. We don't know what the hell's happening with
I
Dallas.
think Commanders still leading division.
True,
Yeah.
but like Philly's like a game behind.
We don't know how they're Philly.
And that's the thing. That's the point.
They're the Arizona
NFC
Cardinals.
North or NFC South, I think Atlanta should take the division out if Godwin and Evans are going to miss more time, as good as Baker's been playing. Maybe not as much as this recent weeks, but for the most part, right? And then the last one is the division you said. I don't know. I don't think there's multiple teams coming out of any of those divisions right now that I'm comfortable saying. It would have been Tampa and Atlanta. But again, like I said, we don't know what the injury status is there with Tampa. So with that being said, that's why I feel like the Minnesota was the team going into the year. We're like, okay, yeah, they're done. But right now, all 4 teams, in my opinion, I will not be surprised. Could be an overreaction, whatever you guys decide, that I think could make the playoffs.
Yeah. So that wrapped up today's episode as well. Take away out of the intro because you usually do it.
Okay, you mean the outro, but
Outro, yeah.
yeah. So that was week 7 overreactions. As always, make sure you guys hit the like button. Tell us in the comments what you guys thought of this week 7, and hit the subscribe button, the post notification bell, because we drop 2 NFL videos a week, and now we've been dropping NBA content with the season starting up or started by the time this comes out as well. NHL content as well. So you guys don't want to miss anything. 2 videos are popping up. Make sure you guys click and watch those as well. Follow our socials link down below. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.